In absolutely wild news, it seems that there is now effectively a travel ban on trans people from entering the country, all because of a memo that Marco Rubio has issued. May I remind you that Marco Rubio was confirmed by both Republicans and Democrats. While this is hidden behind trying to bar trans athletes from entering the country for the upcoming Olympics, it actually extends to far more people than just athletes, because it states that all visas must reflect an applicant's sex at birth and grants officials the authority to deny visas based on reasonable suspicion of a person's transgender identity, which is so broad it gives a lot of leeway for refusals of visas, but it also would potentially exclude intersex people who may not have a sex that matches their gender either. It also states that the adjudicator can rely on documents provided by the applicant, but that if other evidence casts reasonable doubt on the applicant's sex, you should refuse the case under 221G and request additional evidence to demonstrate sex. It would fall under misrepresenting their purpose of travel or sex, and it could result in the permanent ineligibility of the applicant, meaning you could be permanently banned from entering the US. As Alejandra points out, it does not set limitations on what they consider material fraud, but also could extend this to immigrant and non-immigrant visas. So people who would just be trying to visit the US could also be completely barred, even as tourists. Right now, if you are trans and you are planning on going to the US, don't. You are risking a permanent ban from ever going to the US ever again. And as journalist Erin Reed points out, history is littered with examples of marginalized groups whose movements was curtailed as a precursor to broader persecution. We need to recognize how immediate of a danger this is for all trans people who are currently living in the US. Because as much as the ACLU and Lambda Legal are bringing cases to court and winning these cases, this administration has been all too willing to ignore judicial rulings against them. So I agree with Erin, we need to recognize, and lawmakers need to recognize, the gravity of the situation. If you're concerned by this or want to help, contact your local representatives and organizations and organize and try to fundraise to fight these sorts of attacks on civil rights, because it's never going to stop at trans people. And if your representatives won't do the right thing here, force them to do it, or represent yourself and primary them. Kick them out, because you can probably do a far better job than some of these spineless dudes who are not doing a single thing to stop this onslaught on civil rights.